In today's video, I am going to be recapping the events of Crawl, a 2019 natural horror film. A young woman, while attempting to save her father during a Category 5 hurricane, finds herself trapped in a flooding house and must fight for her life against alligators. Spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Now like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this video. The movie opens at the University of Florida at a swimming pool during a women's relay competition. Our lead, Haley, warms up and takes deep breaths before jumping into the water. She makes it across the pool and back quicker than most. Her disappointment is visible when she loses, but she remembers her dad's pep talk from years ago, telling her that she's an apex predator, fast and invincible. Back in the locker room, the news channel on the TV announces that the hurricane has changed its course to a location near Haley. Her older sister video calls her worried. Both sisters haven't heard from their father, whose house falls under the zone that's threatened by the hurricane. Their parents have divorced and their mom is away. Seeing her sister worried, Haley insists she'll go down to check on him. Her sister tells her not to go as the area is being evacuated at the chance of facing a Category 5 hurricane, but Haley leaves anyway. On the way, her car is stopped by a police officer, who turns out to be an acquaintance named Wayne. He says as the storm has turned left that driving in that direction is unsafe. She complies. After going back some distance, she takes her chances and turns back around to see her father. Hurricane warnings continue coming through the car radio. Haley reaches her father's condo. She finds her father's dog Sugar, but her dad's nowhere to be seen. She looks at her swimming trophies and pictures of the two sisters and their mom. As a final attempt at finding him, Haley thinks of checking their childhood home and takes the dog with her. The storm's still raging on as she reaches the house and finds his truck parked outside. The house has been on escrow since the divorce. Inside, there's no sign of her dad. She finds his cell phone in the kitchen as her dog starts barking. She follows the barking and ends up in the garage. The dog stands by the door of the basement, barking. She decides to go down and check. The basement is grimy and wet with a low ceiling. There's a radio playing deep inside, giving out emergency alerts. She crawls to it and finally sees him lying at a distance. He's unconscious, his shoulder's bitten into, and his leg is injured. She puts all her strength into dragging her father to the door of the basement. She's close to the staircase when it breaks and reveals an alligator. She pulls her unconscious dad with her and crawls away from the alligator as it follows them deep into the basement. She slips to a spot where metal pipes block the alligators. The storm is still strong outside as her dad gains consciousness. They haven't talked in a while as the divorce was hard for the whole family. In the safety of the pipes around, her dad tells her that the deal for the house fell through and he's still the owner. They hear the alligator growling in the distance. Her phone rings on the other side of the pipes. She resolves to get it as it's the only way to call for help. Her dad guides her around the basement to hide from the alligator on her way. As she slips between the pipes, they keep talking to quell her nerves. She tells him about losing the relay that very morning and her anxiety about losing her sports scholarship. Dad assures her that it's only a temporary slump. He believes that she has more potential than she thinks. She isn't persuaded and they fall into a silence as she crawls closer to the phone. She manages to avoid the gator and grab the phone to dial 911. The call is received, but before she can respond to the operator, the alligator sneaks right beside her. She scrambles away, but the alligator grabs her by a leg and drags her. Teeth sinking into her leg, Haley kicks it with the other leg and escapes. She manages to trap him away. On her way back to her dad, another alligator blocks her way. She flees for her life. The phone slips from her hands and is crushed by the alligator's foot. Her hands land on a screwdriver and she stabs the alligator with it. That keeps it engaged enough for her to escape. She tells her dad there are 2 alligators, not one, and assures him she's safe in another corner of the basement. She checks her leg where the teeth sunk in and puts a tourniquet in place. The storm continues and the basement begins to fill up with water. Haley finds her way to the windows facing the front of the house and spots some people. They are thieves robbing the gas station across the street. One of the thieves spots Haley's torch and makes his way over. The woman waiting for him in a boat gets attacked and killed instantly by an alligator. The man shouts a warning to thief number 3 inside the gas station. However, it makes no difference as the gators get both of them. Haley loses hope, but her dad thinks of another access hatch that opens inside the house. He directs her to it from afar. She reaches the hatch as the water level rises rapidly. She tries and fails to open the hatch as there's some weight on it. They're close to drowning when a police motorboat approaches the house. They get their attention and Wayne manages to enter the house as the dog barks excitedly. The officer that stayed in the motorboat jumps out into the water to get the motor out of a tangle of weeds. Unsafe in the water, he gets eaten by alligators. Wayne reaches the door to the basement, and when he hears there are 2 gators inside, he tries to reach the policeman outside. When he's distracted, an alligator grabs him by the torso and eats him. Haley swims back to her dad. It's a comfort that they are both together. He motivates her, saying she's always been a fighter and they will find a way out. They make a plan. He distracts the gators by banging on the pipes as Haley swims to the basement staircase. Breaking a pipe, the dad fights off a gator, but another one blocks Haley's way. She decides against the staircase and swims for the drain pipe despite the risk of more gators. Near the pipe, she runs into a gator nest with hatched eggs and baby alligators. She seizes the gun from Wayne's dead body. Only a moment later, the arm holding the gun catches between the jaws of a gator and she pulls the trigger numerous times until it dies. She swims up the drain pipe and out to the lawn, which is entirely submerged in water. Haley breaks the glass door of the house and enters. Inside the basement, the water level steadily rises and there's only a few inches left for her dad to breathe. She pulls out the wooden planks of the kitchen floor and drags out her drowning father from the basement. She notices that he isn't breathing. Panicking, she tries CPR on him and saves him. They look outside the house to see the thieves' boat at the gas station. With the knowledge that gators look for prey in deep waters and are alerted by anything that splashes, they begin to walk to the boat. They are counting on the constant pattering of the rain to mask their movement in the water, but on their way, the rain clears as the eye of the storm moves right above them. They are careful not to splash as gators swim around them. Haley swims to the boat with agility. Starting the engine, she gets the boat to her dad and dog. They are safe in the boat when a big wave pushes them violently into the house. They float in the water amongst the broken remains of Haley's childhood home. Haley's dad finds a few flares near the staircase. Luckily, the dog finds her way to him. When he calls out to Haley, a gator breaks his arm off. Haley reaches the passageway, distracting the gator, who follows her to the bathroom. She manages to trap it and go to her dad. They both climb to the first floor. Her father tells her the truth about the deal, that there was no deal. He just didn't want to sell the house as it held sentimental value. The water around the house gushes in when a gator breaks the window and fills the upper floor. Her dad reaches the roof while Haley gets pulled into the water by a gator. She sees a flare on the floor and grabs it after several tries. She stabs the gator with it and climbs to the roof with the help of her dad. They breathe a sigh of relief with the dog beside them. They see a helicopter in the sky. She lights up a flare to get their attention. They fly towards them and drop down a ladder. Thanks for watching, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed and want to see more of these movie summaries.